Okay, so I'm so excited you guys jumped on, and I know that this is like probably out of your comfort zone. So huge congrats for just doing this. I always fully expect to be the only one on these calls sometimes because I always think if I wasn't a coach and I was invited to something like this, I would be like, I am not clicking that link. So good for you guys. So I am going to actually just quickly mute you all just to cut out some of the background noise. But you can unmute yourself at any time, and you can actually use the chat box. I'll type in it right now, but that is like a little chat box that you can quickly just like put anything in. But I want you to feel comfortable asking any questions or comments, and we'll kind of do some Q&A at the end. But right now I just have a couple things to talk about, but I also just want to touch base and see how everybody's doing. So one of the most common questions that I get from people is, do I have to eat all of my containers? Like, for a lot of people, this can be more food than they are used to, or it's just that it's more healthy food than they're used to. So I always ask the question, like, is it actually more food than you're used to eating? And sometimes, as it turns out, it's just more healthy food, because let's be honest, if we put a bowl of chips in front of us, or whatever your thing is, like for me, it would be like cookies or a pie or a cheesecake or ice cream. I could literally eat it all and more. But you have a salad or some like healthy foods, it's kind of like, oh wow, this is a lot of food. So it's just about changing our mindset, because we're capable of eating a lot of food. I think we all have done it before. So yes, it might be more food than you're used to, but it's probably just the fact that it's more healthy food than you're used to. And your body has to get used to that. And that will happen over time. So in the beginning days, if you're struggling to get all of your containers in, it's okay, but really try your best to get those containers in, because food is fuel. And if you can start looking at food as fuel, it will change how you sort of approach your meals and approach your day. If you're not getting in all of your containers, yet you're snacking on your kids like grilled cheese crusts, or you're like having some goldfish, or you're having a donut in the break room, but you're then at the end of the day like, oh, I didn't get all my greens in. Well, you really have to reflect on that. And it's not that you weren't able to get your containers in, it's just that you chose to have other things in place of those containers. So you always have to give yourself a really good gut check, because fortunately or unfortunately, I am not with you all day and I can't actually see what you're doing, in your home or at work or in your car, wherever you are. What happens is that some people will tend to think that if they skip a few containers, that they'll get to their goal weight faster. And this is so easy for us to get into our mind, because we're kind of in this like diet culture of like, eat less, get skinnier, no carbs, I'll get to my goal. And this can actually have like the reverse effect. So if you are saying to yourself, well, maybe if I just have like one less yellow or like less purples, I'll get to my goal faster. That's not the case. Like I said, food is fuel. So if you start skipping containers in hopes that you will lose weight faster, it can have a negative effect on you, because your body needs a certain amount of calories every single day, which is why you did the calculation, which is why you're following this plan. And if you don't give your body all of those calories, what ends up happening is your body will hold on to any calories that you are giving it. So it's just going to like hold on to these extra calories, or any calories that you're giving it. If you're not giving it enough, it can't burn anything off. So it's going to store that food as fat, unfortunately. So a lot of times I'll have someone come to me that's, hasn't done a program, but they're like, I'm only eating 1,200 calories a day and I'm not losing any weight. And because we're sort of taught to think if you want to lose weight, you've got to eat less. But that's not the case. You just have to cut out the crap. But you actually do need a lot of good food in your body to rev up your metabolism. If you don't give it enough calories, which is different for everybody, like I need a different amount of calories than, Tiffany needs, for instance. So you really have to pay attention to that. And if you don't give it enough calories, your metabolism shuts down and it starts to just store everything as fat, which is not what we want. So you might even find that in the next couple of weeks, you start to become hungrier. You're like, wow, I'm actually hungry. And this is because your metabolism has kicked in and it's like, okay, let's go. The engine is burning and the food you're putting into your body is like, all right, let's burn this off. You're working out, you're feeling good. You're consistently putting food into your body that can be burned off and not stored as fat. And you're going to find yourself dropping weight, getting to your goals faster, feeling hungrier. These are all good things that your metabolism is really fired up. So it's just so important that you don't skip containers hoping to lose weight, because you'll get super frustrated. Not to mention you're not doing your body a very good service. Our bodies need healthy fats and carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables. It needs all of those things in order to be sustainable. So sure, you can cut out carbs for a certain amount of time and drop a lot of weight, but it's not going to be sustainable. Your body needs those carbohydrates. So that's why this program isn't a diet. It's not a quick fix. It is something that you can literally stick with for life. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is the tracker. So this is so important, you guys. This is my today's. I'm kind of almost done it for the day, but make sure you are filling out this tracker. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, it probably means you really need to fill it out, because maybe you're not being completely honest about what you're eating. And this is such a good way to start kind of introducing journaling into your routine, because I love the morning mindfulness and the evening reflection. This stuff is all so important for you as you go through this journey, because it's about a lot more than just the food we put into our bodies. It's how we're feeling, what our energy is like, what our day-to-day life is going, or do we feel in balance, in harmony with our life? So the tracker is so vital. And it keeps you accountable. I know I am way less likely to eat a bunch of crap if I know I have to write it down. Something that I do that has made things a lot easier to stay on track is I will actually fill out my food portion the night before. So this is tomorrow's, and I was just working on this before I jumped in. So this is tomorrow's tracker. And I have already put in what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. I've already figured out my snacks, and tomorrow's kind of a weird day for me because I have to go to a funeral. So I'm going to be gone from 11 until 3 probably. So it's going to be tricky, but I've already committed. I'm going to pack some Shakeology, some veggies, some fruit, and just have it in the car, because I have to travel a little bit both ways for it. So I'll have healthy snacks and I'll be able to stick to my containers. And then I still have to figure out what our dinner is. It's out on the fridge. I already have it written down, but I just couldn't remember when I was sitting in here. But tonight before bed, I'm going to write it all out. I'm going to figure out my snacks tomorrow, what I'm going to have for lunch, and I'm going to put it all on here so that tomorrow morning, there's no guesswork. I know I've already decided what I'm going to be eating tomorrow. So it's going to be easy to follow, right? So that's just a simple little trick that you can do, and it sort of tricks your brain into it. It's already down there. That's what I'm eating. And then of course, if you do stray from the plan, make sure you do write it down. Even write it down in a red pen so you can kind of see ooh, that wasn't part of the plan, but it happened. That's okay. How did I feel tonight, this evening, when I'm doing my evening reflection? Did those choices kind of impact how I'm feeling? So just be really, really aware of that. And then the last thing that I really wanted to talk about before we kind of get into any questions is the way that I track my containers through the day, because it can be somewhat overwhelming for some people, I think, getting started. And it's like, gosh, like how can I, unless you're literally eating out of your containers, like, okay, I'll have cucumbers, and then, okay, I'll have some grapes, and then, oh, I'm going to put chicken in my container and eat that. Like, that's not fun. That's not realistic. So what I do to track my containers is I use popsicle sticks. So these are just from the dollar store. They're already colored. Like, there's no way in heck I was going to paint these things by any means. So you can just buy a bag for like $2, and it has a ton of these. Your kids will love them if you have kids. And they come in exactly the colors of our containers. Like, it's perfect. So I keep them in a little jar, and actually it is labeled Mummy. And I have a jar for all of the kids. Not that they follow this, but if they want to sort of like pull out the containers that they've had today, just to kind of make them aware of how many vegetables they're eating in a day versus carbs, that sort of thing. Like, I don't make them follow a plan by any means, but it is kind of nice for them to be aware of where they're lacking in their nutrition. So, for instance, tomorrow morning when I am making my breakfast, I am just going to take out my red because I'm going to have Greek yogurt. I'm going to take out my yellow because I'm going to have some granola. And I'm going to take out a purple because I'm having berries. And then for my mid-morning snack, I'm going to have two hard-boiled eggs. So that's a red. And later I'm going to have my Shakeology, which I'm probably going to put some oatmeal in it to bulk it up because I'm going to be traveling. And I will put some fruit in there. So take that out. I'm also going to put some avocado in it because I'm really like, this shake is going to be like my meal tomorrow to sort of like sustain me over the afternoon. So I'll put that in there as well. And then it just sort of shows me what containers I have left for the rest of the day. So this is just like, I use this, it's on my counter. It drives my husband crazy, but it sits on my counter, and literally as I'm like preparing my food, I just take out my containers. And it's great if you have to work, and like the days that I work, I'm a nurse, and I have to literally take like 12 hours worth of food with me. So as I'm packing up my lunch, I'm like pulling out my popsicle sticks so that I know I'm not forgetting anything. I know that I'm getting it all in. I leave a couple containers for when I get home at night in case I'm starving, that sort of thing. So this is just super, super simple. You can do it if you're going to plan your night, or if you're going to plan your day the night before. Just look at it, start pulling out your containers, and then you know, okay, tomorrow is planned. Good to go, like awesome. So I'm not like a techie person, so keeping track of my containers on the app or on anything, I just don't want to do that. This is just super, super easy for me. Yeah, so I wanted to share that because it's just a very easy way of checking what. Love it. That is awesome. Good job. Lucy is practicing her journaling skills. I always say if you're not going to go to bed at night when it's your bedtime, then you have to either read or you can journal. Okay, so that was kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I would love to hear from you all how you're doing, if you have any questions. I know there was one question that I saw a couple of hours ago about Shakeology, and if you can have more than one shake a day. The answer is yes, absolutely. And I often will have more than one a day, like tomorrow, for instance, because it's a busy traveling type day. I probably will have two because it's going to be easy for me. So there are days where two I would have. I mean, do you want to have two every single day? Choosing like food is probably better for that second Shakeology that you would have. But if it happens several times a week, no big deal. Like, not at all. I quite often will have two. But other than that, what questions? Do you guys have any questions? You can unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat. I would love to hear how you guys are doing. Like, if you're struggling, if you're overwhelmed, like this is the chance that we have to kind of connect and we can talk about it. So who's going to be brave?
I have a question.
Yay.
So when we, like on our rest day, if we're following the time nutrition, do we still follow the same times? Like we still eat at the same time, like the pre-workout, post-workout, all that?
So I don't have my book in front of me, but there is
There is one for not working out. There's
there should be where is my book here? Lucy, give me my phone back, please. I am pretty sure that there is a rest day plan, it'll show you what you should do on your rest day, because it's different. It's different containers even, I want to say. Because I did timed nutrition about a year ago and I loved it.
Just missed it.
But the rest day nutrition was different. I just gotta find where it is here. Pick your path.
Yeah, I'm finding the time nutrition easy because I'm home. I'm on mat leave, so it's easy. But if I was to leave my house, I think it would be a struggle.
Yeah, and maybe that is why I did love it, because I very rarely leave my house either. But it did get tricky. Like, yeah, you're pretty limited, and if you're someone who's like social and eating out frequently, and going to
we're going to play group tomorrow, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, I need to plan out how long I'm going to be gone.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just not seeing it, but I will look it up, because I know that there is like a rest day nutrition. So I'm just going to write this down and I can look it up and send it to you. Okay. Otherwise, how are you doing?
Really good.
Good.
Like I said, I haven't left the house yet. During eating times. But no, it's not my first time doing the 21-day fix. So it's just like, I enjoy the 21-day fix. It's a good get you back in the swing of things. I find a good workout for that. And yeah, no, I'm getting all my containers in, but I've prepped it, right? So I know what I'm eating. Like you said, I have it all ready to go. There's no questions. There's no thinking about it. You just eat it.
Yeah.
Get it in.
Yeah.
So, and I'm hungry. Like when it comes time to eat, I'm hungry. So
yeah,
hopefully that's my reason.
It is, for sure. And that's why eating every 2.5 to 3 hours is so important, because it's going to get that metabolism going, instead of having these big, long stretches in between eating where your metabolism just kind of like starts to slowly shut down. You're just keeping the motor running constantly, which is so good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to follow like the not working out example, or if there was a rest day. I don't know why I missed it, but anyway.
Yeah, I'll look into it a little bit closer and just see what I come up with, and I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, who else wants the spotlight?
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And everybody else. I just had a quick question. I just wanted to clarify the like PB2, if you're using it in your shake or whatever type of peanut butter substitute that you're using. Does it count as a teaspoon?
So this is so interesting, because I was in the test group with Autumn back in January before the program launched. And I had this exact same question, because I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing anything about PB2 anywhere. And so we had like tons of videos with her and stuff. So I asked her, and she didn't give a very clear answer. She was basically like, why wouldn't you just eat the real thing? Like eat peanut butter. And I was like, well, the reason why I don't eat the real thing is because I will eat the entire real thing. Like I will put peanut butter into my shake, and then I will take 2 heaping spoonfuls into my mouth at the same time. Like, and
yeah,
this was
I'm like that too.
Yeah. And she was like, well, you need to figure out why you're doing that. What emotions are behind eating the peanut butter? And I was like, well, it just tastes really good. So she kind of like let me have it. She's like, that's a problem if like you're doing that constantly. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, Autumn told me. So I never did get a full answer. She was like, I'll have to just look more into PB2. Like she kind of just brushed it off. But I get what she's saying in like, you might as well just have real peanut butter, because even though PB2 is still like a really good option, when you grind down peanuts, it turns to an oil. Like that's just what naturally happens, which is what natural peanut butter is. It's just like ground down peanuts, and that's why it's oily. That's why it's so delicious. Whereas PB2, something has been done to it in order to like extract all of that
Right.
oil. And she's saying not that anything terrible's been done to it. It's not like a bunch of preservatives and crap has been added into it, but something has happened to the peanut. So you're not getting as many nutrients, and you're not getting as many healthy fats from the peanut, which makes sense now. But if your option is to eat half of a cup of peanut butter or have PB2, go for PB2. Like that's just kind of where my mindset was. So I always just count it as a teaspoon. I'm just like mindful. Of course, you're going to use more than a teaspoon, but I would just kind of put like one scoop and count that as a teaspoon.
Okay.
Is it wrong? Is it right? I honestly have no clue, but this is one of those things like, okay, we are on a path to make a lifestyle. So if PB2 is part of your lifestyle, then fit it in, make it work, feel good about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but that's a great question. Okay, who else? Sarah, you unmuted yourself, so I'm going to just put the spotlight on you.
I don't know if I have any questions. I kind of had a rough day yesterday. I ended up feeling really terrible by the end of the day, like really horrible stomach cramps. And I wasn't expecting that at all. It kind of surprised me. But my partner was telling me he's experienced that too. And coincidentally, you had made that post about the detox.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't super worried about it. I was just wondering, like, do you know how long should we expect that to last? Because I'm still a little uncomfortable today. It's mostly just like stomach cramps that kind of come and go. But I don't know, like, is that supposed to go on for a long time?
No, it shouldn't. Like, I mean, there is also like a crazy amount of flu bugs going around right now too. So it's kind of like, could it be that I've caught something, or is it because now all of a sudden I'm giving my body a ton of vegetables, a ton of fruit, tons of fiber, plus Shakeology. Like Shakeology is it's a gentle detox, but it's a gentle detox of like all of your organs, which is amazing. Like our organs are holding on to so much garbage because of what we are surrounded by, the pollution, our like food, everything. So Shakeology is like slowly, gently detoxing everything in your body, which can like take its toll on you in the beginning. So if you think it's the Shakeology, but if you're having like, let's say somebody's having like diarrhea from the Shakeology, like really like, whoa, my bowels are out of control right now, you can always do like half a scoop of Shakeology for a few days and then go back up to a full scoop. But these are all really good indications that your body needs this. Like if you're feeling effects from a healthy diet, either in the form of like, you know, digestion, kind of like cramping from the extra fiber, headaches, like that's such a good sign. Like, wow, I needed a detox. I need to get on a new path of healthy. And even if you weren't even eating that terrible before, but just cutting out some of that processed stuff, it's crazy. Your body was like hanging on to it. And now it's like, okay, let's work through this discomfort. And then on the other side is like, oh my gosh, I feel like alive and energized and clear-headed. And the effects are so amazing if you can just like push yourself over the hump. And then once you get over that hump, it's like, wow, it's like a whole new world over here. And it really does feel like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's the shake because I didn't notice anything until yesterday, and I've been drinking shake for a little over 2 weeks now, I think. Um, so I just assume that it's probably detoxing like sugar and stuff. I've been like on a sugar rampage for the past 2 months. Um, I don't know why, because I wasn't before. My entire pregnancy was totally fine, but after that baby came out, I was just like dessert every night, just treating myself. Um, but yeah, like it's a lot better today than it was yesterday, but I was just hoping it would be kind of a short-term thing. Because otherwise like my energy levels and my mood and stuff have really improved even just in a few days. So I'm enjoying it. It just the cramping.
Yeah. And, probably tomorrow, I would say the symptoms sort of last like 2 to 3 days. And then it's like you're in the clear. So just kind of stick with it. And I mean, that sugar addiction, holy cow, is it ever a real thing? And I like that is hands down my biggest struggle is sugar. I am fine if I stay away from it, but the second I have a little bit, like I have to be so careful about making a choice to like indulge in something because I have to be fully aware that this could send me on like a downward spiral for days or weeks, like or longer. So I have to be so careful because it's so addicting. Like
Right.
sugar is so addicting. It's not like we are weak and we like it's addicting. Like it is worse than a drug. It is insane. And for me, I know I just have to stay away from it. And if I stay away from it, I feel so good. But the second it's in my body, I am like this crazy lunatic that will find it anywhere and eat it.
Yep,
It's,
I hear
yeah,
you on that.
yeah.
I
I
did have one other quick question too, because I'm right there with you with the peanut butter love. Um, for my teaspoons every day, like, is it is it terrible to just have peanut butter as my teaspoons? Because I don't eat butter or like really anything else on the list. Is that like okay just to have that? That
I
sounds
think,
crazy, but
yeah, I think it is. Like, you kind of do what works. Um, I'd say my teaspoons kind of range between peanut butter and like oil to cook in. So either like coconut oil or like olive oil or something.
mhm.
That's generally what my teaspoons go towards. And I mean, if you guys have followed my stories, like my Instagram stories or Facebook stories for a while, you probably have seen this, but this is totally off topic. But for coffee, if you put like a teaspoon of coconut oil in coffee and then blend it, it is like the most amazing, frothy, like sweet, creamy coffee. Like that is like the only way I can drink coffee now is with a little bit of coconut oil. And I was the person who drank coffee with that double double coffee mate or like the French vanilla Bailey's flavored coffee mate, like just ridiculous amounts of crap. And that like for years that was the only way I could drink coffee. And now I do it with just a little bit of coconut oil blended and it is so good. So that's generally what my teaspoons go towards too sometimes.
That sounds amazing. I'm gonna try that tomorrow.
Yeah. Even put a little bit of cinnamon in there. Like, oh, so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to also say to Sarah that I have been experiencing the headache today. Like I had a slow start this week. I had some things going on, so I didn't really start till what's today, Thursday. So I didn't really start till yesterday, and I'm kind of feeling the headache today. But I'm not sure if it's from sore muscles too, because I'm doing the 21-day fix, the real time. So that could be it too.
Yeah, it'll be a combination of everything and it might even be worse tomorrow. Sorry to tell you. Okay, who else? Tanya, Emily, how are you guys doing?
Good. You answered my questions about the shakes. Doing better with the containers. Like the first day was really overwhelming, but now I'm kind of getting into a rhythm of what I eat and when. I have a desk job, so getting my containers into the day is not hard for me. At first, I came with my coworker and I was like, here's my fridge full of food, because I was like, I just felt like it was so much. But definitely need to start figuring out how to eat vegetables a different way. Like I'm kind of getting sick of like raw vegetables. So my goal is this weekend to try and find some recipes through Beachbody and stuff like that to incorporate them a little bit differently, just so I don't get sick of eating them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good point. I have like dove right into the Fix8 cookbook. I have the original Fix8 cookbook and I never made anything out of it. Like it wasn't realistic recipes. Like they're pretty fancy and weird. And now this one that they made is like so good and like realistic for moms and working people. Like it's just so good. So there is a recipe in there, the green soup. I think it's actually called green soup. It looks awful. Like it's like my kids are like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Like it is like Hulk green. It is so green, but it is so flavorful. And I think you end up using like 2 green containers or something like that. Like it's a great way to get in some greens.
Okay, good. I like soup, so that's good as well. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah. And then this week I actually made the cauliflower one. It's like a roasted cauliflower. And holy Hannah, this thing tasted like it came from a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not like that amazing of a chef. But it was so creamy tasting. Like it tasted like it was loaded with calories. Like it was so amazing. And it was, I think, like 2.5 green containers for a serving. Like it was insane.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's just like pure cauliflower. And I don't even really like cauliflower that much.
Yeah.
But this was so good. So there are ways, like there really are ways of getting.
Yeah, I just don't want to get sick of, because vegetables are always to me, it's always everyone's hardest thing to get in, right? Because I don't know, they're not as sweet or things like that, right? So I just want to find different ways so I don't get sick of eating them and kind of fall off a little bit there.
Yeah, definitely try those 2. Like make one this week and then maybe next weekend make another one because it lasts for a few days too. And then another thing is, and I'll have to find the recipe because it's not in Fix8, but it's in one of the other workout programs. And it's like a vegetarian chili. And same thing, it just uses like a ton of green containers. It's really flavorful. And it's just such a good thing to just heat up with your lunch. And, you bang out some green containers. So awesome. Okay, Emily, how are you doing?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's frozen.
Oh, yeah, you are frozen, but I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. I just have to really make sure that my vegetables are mixed in with other foods because I get heartburn pretty easy. So I find like the more greens I eat, the more like heartburn I feel. So, I mean, in the morning I'll have like my oatmeal, my fruit, and then I make scrambled eggs that I put like a container full of chopped up spinach in it that way. Or for my snacks, maybe I'll have like my bell pepper with hummus or something like that too. But I have to watch how much raw vegetables I'm eating. If they're cooked, it seems to be fine. But I was just running into like heartburn issues.
Well, at least you could pinpoint what it was, right? That kind of.
Because it makes me feel like, is it heartburn or are you hungry or is it water? But it seemed to be the heartburn.
Yeah. And that might go away, like even with drinking Shakeology consistently, because what Shakeology does is there's a group of superfoods in there that decrease the inflammation in our bodies. And pretty much like every symptom we experience, like in a negative way, is caused by internal inflammation. So things like heartburn, reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, headaches, any type of like skin conditions, like you name it, it's probably caused by internal inflammation. And drinking Shakeology consistently over time just decreases that inflammation. So people are always looking at like in like diets that decrease, like it's like inflammatory diets or whatever it's called. But I'm like, oh my God, just drink Shakeology. Like it's got what you need to decrease that inflammation. So you might even find that those effects start to lessen as you are, you know, consistently with it. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Becky, how are you doing? Oh. Do you want me to unmute you? I can unmute you.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm such a rookie here. I am actually surviving. So, I have actually ate some green containers, which is kind of a big deal. So that's been good for me. But I can relate to everybody feeling a little bit crummy because Tuesday night, I think I posted about it, but Tuesday night during my regular boot camp workout, like in our community, I was pretty sure I was going to die. And I'm sure the trainer was like, what has gotten into you? But I think it was just a combination of like my body adapting to all these different foods, like the Shakeology, so many vegetables, all of that kind of stuff. So it's definitely mind over matter for me. But anyway, powering through. So it's good.
Good. Awesome. And it's just going to keep getting easier. And then when you start to feel really good, like when you start to really feel the effects of the clean eating and the Shakeology and, you know, the exercise, and you get a hang of everything, then it's like, okay, this is easy. This is easy. Like I can do this. And you just, the better you feel, the more you keep wanting to feel better. And, you know, that's when you really start to make this a lifestyle. So that is awesome.
Definitely. Yeah.
I am going to be mindful of the time because I know it's getting late, but I am so grateful you guys jumped on tonight. That was awesome. And I hope it was helpful for you. And I'll post the recording for anybody else or if you hopped on late. But, you know, I'm open to doing these while we go through the mentorship together. So, you know, and you guys know where to find me. Any questions, post them in the group, like lean into the community. Support and accountability during this are huge. So the more you're showing up in the group and, you know, commenting on other people's stuff and asking questions, the more you will get out of this whole experience. It really is true. So awesome job. And if anybody else has any last minute stuff, just quickly. So, okay, we will talk to you guys later and I'll see you in the group.